In a business, the objective is to gain the most amount of profit within the confines defined by a budget or production limits. If you're selling multiple things, you want to find a way to decide how many of which things to sell for the maximum profit. You can figure out how many things that you should produce by graphing inequalities and solving for the corners. Take, for example, a company that makes shirts and pants. They can only make 1,000 shirts a month and 600 pants a month. Also, the total amount of shirts and pants that can be produced is 12,000. In addition to this, the amount of pants produced cannot exceed twice the amount of shirts produced. Shirts are sold for $5 and pants are sold for a profit of $6. How many pants and shirts should the company produce monthly to maximize profit? So the first step in all this is to define your x and y values. So in this equation, we'll have system of inequalities. We'll have x equals shirts and y equal pants. The next step is to create boundaries as defined by the problem. So usually with production, there will be automatic boundaries set by x is greater than or equal to 0 and y is greater or equal to than 0. These are automatically set because you can't produce more or less of, or you can't produce less than nothing of something. It's not really possible. So the next step is to look at the problem and to find boundaries defined in it. So in this problem, the first one that we can see is that they can only make 1,000 shirts. So shirts is x, so we'd have x and then the maximum that they can produce, so they cannot exceed it, so they can only go less than or equal to 1,000 shirts. The next thing that we find is that they can only produce 600 pants a month. So this boundary would be defined as y is less than or equal to 600. Looking back at the equation, we now find that the total amount of shirts and pants that can be produced is 12,000. Oh, sorry, that should actually be 1,200. Okay. So in this equation, the total amounts of shirts and the total amounts of pants cannot exceed 1,200. Finally, the amount of pants produced cannot exceed twice the amount of shirts produced. So this means that the amount of pants produced cannot exceed 2 times the amount of shirts produced. With this, that's all the boundaries that are set in this. And with that, we can start, before we can do that, we should define our objective function. And our objective function is a function that will define what the profit is based on how